So, welcome everybody. What I thought we would do tonight is I've got in my little share room everything I think we've covered so far. I've just got to find the right one to start off with. I don't want that. Do I want that? I want the MuseScore ones. That's what I want. So if I share that... Right, so... This is where we started off, remember, all those weeks ago? Yes?
Yeah.
Thank you. And so this was the names of the notes. And then we went on to length of notes and rests and time signatures. Okay? 3, 4, 2, 4, 4, 4. And then their simple time signatures, and 12, 8, 9, 8, and 6, 8 are compound time signatures. The difference being that the simple time signature, the beat divides by 2 into quavers, and then in compound time signatures, they divide into 3. So you get 3 quavers per dotted crotchet. Okay? Is everybody sort of happy with that? Yes? Good, okay. And then from there we went, we did a bit on the different accidentals you can get. A sharp, a double sharp, and a natural, and the flat and the double flat, okay? There are other more complex ones to describe quarter tones and microtones and things like that, okay? But we shall not be using them. Yes, James?
Do you mind the double sharp? Can you remind us what that is?
The double sharp, yeah. The double sharp, a G double, put my teeth in. G double sharp is just basically you've got G natural, G sharp, and then another semitone up from there. Okay? So this is where we get into that funny world of what we call enharmonics, where you could have two notes described, well, one note described in two different ways.
Oh, yes, I remember now, yeah.
Yeah, remember that? So that is basically the same as an A. Okay, if you've got the keyboard, G, G sharp, G double sharp is the same as A. Okay?
Okay.
Tim.
Yes?
Declan here. Do we
Yes?
actually come across many of these in our repertoire? These double sharps or double flats?
Very rarely. It'll be, they crop up more often in minor keys that are quite high in sharps or flats. Okay?
Okay.
They will crop up when we get when we sort of at the end of tonight's session. I want to get back to chords 1, 4, 5 and go over that again with you all. Okay? So they will crop up again there, but to all intents and purposes, I would probably in a vocal part probably write that as an A natural. Whereas the piano part, for my sense, for my ease of playing, I'd probably use a double sharp. But for a vocal line, I'd probably make it clear as an A natural. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
And then we had different chords, just some major chords, up to 3 sharps and 3 flats, okay? But we've done more of that since then, haven't we? Yes, we have. Okay, so if we look at these chords, we can see how they are formed. If we take C major, or a chord of C major, the chord is made up of the first note of the scale, the second, the third, and the fifth note. And then you're back to C again. Okay? So if I play that, it sounds like that. Okay? Did you hear that?
No.
Were you able to hear that? Oh, it's this computer share sound thing, isn't it? If I take my headphones off, it might help. Try this. Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the headphones. I'll leave my headphones off. Okay, and we're at full volume. Okay. So that's... And that's the same for every major chord. The different, we'll come back to this later on because I want to do some more explanation on chords. But these are just some basic major chords going up to sort of three sharps, three flats. Okay, and then we had an example of a repeat sign. Okay, and how it works. That repeat sign is the same as those 4 bars there. Okay, 2 bars repeated, exactly the same as that. Okay. Any questions on any of that stuff that we've covered so far? Nope. Okay. Right. Scales. Major and minor, part 1. Okay. Now then, we started off with our chromatic scale, which is every single semitone. Okay. So it doesn't matter where you start the piano, you are going to hear. If you go up in semitone. Okay, you'll get that shush. And what I've done is where there are, each time we come to a black note, I've called it C sharp and I've repeated it as D flat. Okay? So they are the same note, and that's why every now and again you get 2 notes that sound the same. Listen again. Oops. Okay, so the C sharp's the same as the D flat, the D sharp's the same as the E flat, E, F sharp and G flat are the same, G sharp and A flat are the same, A sharp and B flat are the same. Okay? Is that everybody with me? Good. And then E sharp is the same as F, and F flat is the same as E. So if you listen to that, we'll get 2 notes sounding the same, then down a semitone and 2 notes sounding the same. Okay, and B sharp is the same as C, and C flat is the same as B. Okay, so that's enharmonics and the chromatic scale. Okay, so it depends. Oh, stop farting around. It depends what key you're in as to whether you use an F sharp or a G flat. Okay? For example, if you're writing a scale of G major, okay, you're not going to write that as a G flat. Okay? Because it would mean that you're spending most of your time writing G naturals and G flats when you can actually just do it with an F sharp because you've got no other F being used, so you use an F sharp. Okay? So our major scale is here, okay, in C major, and it's a set sequence of tones and semitones. Yep. Everybody awake? Yes? Vote as if you're nodding off. Okay, so I wish we could do that. So it's going from tone to tone to tone, and then a semitone, tone, 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 semitone, okay? And that is the same for G major, and it's because of this sequence that we then have to put in, depending what note we start on, we have to add sharps or flats, depending on the sequence we're trying to get. In this case, it's a major sequence, therefore we are trying to, we have to have the F sharp there to create that semitone, and also to create that tone between the E and the F sharp, okay? And if we go to F major, we need the B flat to create that semitone there and that tone there. Okay? If we don't do that, we have what is called a Lydian mode. Or if we do it G major, a Mixolydian mode, etc. Okay? That's with a different set of sequence of tones and semitones. Okay? Yes.
Can I ask another question? The business about Lydian and Mixolydian, well, I forget, I can't see what they're called.
Yeah,
do we need to worry much about those, do we?
No. No, I just put them there for an extra bit of little sort of historical interest.
Oh, okay.
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 You certainly, you will occasionally come across them, but nobody will sort of say, well, for this you need to know your Mixolydian mode. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I shouldn't worry about it. Okay. It's just a point of interest. You will get, as I mentioned at the time, sort of folk songs in different modes. For example, Scarborough Fair's in the Dorian mode. Okay. And the Dorian mode and the Aeolian mode, which are over here somewhere. There's the Aeolian, which starts on A, which is quite nice. It starts on D. Okay, so there's the Dorian. They're quite two easy ones to remember. Starting on D, it's Dorian. Starting on A, it's Aeolian. Okay, the other ones don't follow that rule at all, unfortunately. But they're the most sort of popular ones you'll come across in folk music. Okay. Flower of Scotland is in the Mixolydian mode. Okay. So if you ever go to an England-Scotland rugby match, you can tell them when they all start singing Flower of Scotland. Says, "Oh, you know your Mixolydian mode." That'll go down a storm in Edinburgh. Anyway.
I don't know what saying in reply to that.
I have no idea. No idea. I'll try out my brother and I'll let you know. He's a very staunch Scottish rugby supporter, despite the fact he was born in Newcastle. But anyway, that's a different story. Anyway, so that'll go back to its ordinary place eventually. I don't know where it's come from. It's wandered off somewhere. Right. So, any more questions on major scales? Shall I move on to the joy that is minor scales? Yes. Here we are. So, we've got two types of minor scale. We've got harmonic and we've got melodic. Okay. Now then, I'll go over the difference for these and why there's a difference. The difference is, as it says in the title, in the name, that's harmonic minor. So when you're harmonizing something in a minor scale, in a minor key, this is the scale you need to work out your chords. Bless you. Okay? So, if we have a piece in C minor, we're going to have chords that are made up of a C minor chord, which would be your first, third, and fifth note of the scale. Okay? And most likely the other two chords that you're going to use a lot are chord 4, F, A flat, and C, which is another minor chord. I'll play this for you. I will switch my keyboard on. So, here's your C minor harmonic scale. Okay, so you know that the first note is C, and then the third note is E flat, and the fifth note is G. That is a chord of C minor. 1, 3, 5. Okay, chord 4 in a minor scale. 1, sorry. Yeah, chord 1, if you start on 4, is F, A flat, C. So chord 4 in a minor key is also a minor chord. So you've got chord 1, chord 4, and chord 5, which starts on G, is a major chord because we have a B natural. Okay? So this scale tells you what the chords are going to sound like in C minor. Other chords within that, you will get, if I start on 6, which is the A flat, that's another major chord. Okay, but A flat, C, and E flat are all within your C minor harmonic scale. Is that making sense? Good.
No, I'm struggling with that, Tim.
Okay.
What I don't understand why, and you probably explained it perfectly well, but it's not getting into my head. Why
Okay.
the chord 5 is major?
Because
Yeah,
if we look at, let's go to C major along at the beginning of the page, okay? C major. So that's the C major scale. So if I want a major chord of C major, I go C, E, G.
yeah,
Okay? So the distance between C and E is what we call a major third.
yes,
Not intervals yet, but another way of looking at that is 4 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So that's C up to E. And then the second half of the interval, the E up to the G, is 3 semitones. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay?
yeah,
Does that make sense? So that is a
yeah,
chord. So a major chord is made up of whatever note you start on, counting up 4 semitones and then another 3. Okay?
yeah,
If I start on a G, count up 4 semitones, that takes me to B.
yes,
And if I count up another 3 semitones, that takes me to D. Now that is a chord of G major. Okay? Now it just so happens that those notes, G, B, and D, are present in my C harmonic minor scale. Yes?
okay, if you say so. Yes. Is that something you have to know, or, how do you work that out?
You could work it out by looking at the scale. C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B, C. Yes?
Yeah,
So, if I start on my fifth note of the scale, G,
yes,
1, 3, and then if I go to the next D, but I'll go down to the bottom D. Okay, it doesn't matter which D it is. G, B, and D. I've got those 3 notes. It's down there, but I'm going to take it up the octave to get my triad, okay?
yeah,
So that is a chord of G major. Now, if I was in a scale, if I was in the key of G major, which I've no problem, 1, 3, 5, okay? It's a chord of G major, and in the key of G major. The fact is that we're not in the key of G major, but the chord of G major is present in other keys. Okay? You with me?
yes.
Yeah. The chord, just because the chord is a major chord, doesn't mean to say it can only appear in major keys.
Can I ask, does everyone else get this? Does anyone else?
On a
not
practical
quite get it?
level, does this mean if I'm arranging a piece of music and it's
Yes.
in the key of C,
Yes.
then there are certain chords that are appropriate to put in it.
Yes.
Yeah, and
With
so,
pop songs, you're going to get chords 1, 4, and 5, that sort of thing.
right. So G
The G
major
major.
would be an appropriate chord. So that helps me pick the notes that people are going to sing.
Yes. Okay, because all those notes, a chord is made up of notes within a scale. Okay?
I suppose what I was thinking, Tim, was, yeah,
Declan, to your question, does everyone get it? It's slightly confusing, I think, that the chords and have the same name.
Yes, because the chords are derivative from the keys. Okay?
Key, yeah. But if you remember whether you're talking about a key or a chord,
yeah,
Yes.
that helps.
Absolutely. Yes, it's I remember what I was at school when I had this sort of Damascus moment when I suddenly realised that somebody said what somebody had asked me. The teacher had said, "What key is this piece in at a certain point?" Okay, because the piece of music had changed key. It was a piece of classical music. We started off in one key, and we had a key change. It would go on to another key. Okay. And I suddenly realised that because there were certain more accidentals and things like that, although we still had a key signature for whatever key we're in, we had moved key because other notes were coming into play. Okay? So, with our chord of G major, if I take the chord of G major, okay, now we've got that chord, and it works as the chord 1 in G major. Okay, that's chord 1, 4, and 5 in G major, yeah? Does that make sense, Declan?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that's chord 1. Okay, now then, if I go to the key of D major, okay, I've got F sharp and C sharp, haven't I?
Yes.
Okay, now then, the G is the fourth note of the scale.
Yeah.
There's D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so my chord of G major quite happily crops up in D major. Okay, it's not the main chord anymore, it's chord 4, but it's still G major.
Yeah.
It's in a different context.
Okay.
You with me?
What threw me, Tim, was where in a minor chord you might have a major, in a minor triad, you might have a major chord.
Yes.
That blew
You have
me.
minor chords in major keys.
Well, I didn't get that at all, you see.
Okay. If I go back to C major, would it help if you could see the keyboard?
Possibly, yeah.
Have to move, Dipples. Take the printer out.
Sorry, I'm asking all the questions.
That's fine. Right. How's that?
You're stuff in the main screen.
Sorry?
Oh, I've got it. It's fine. No worries.
This C major, yes? C, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay? So what happens is that on the first note of the scale, I have my key chord, C. Chord 1. Okay? Now what we've been looking at is the major chords within that key, or in any key, which are chords 1, chord 4, and chord 5. Okay? Now we haven't paid much attention to chords 2, 3, 6, and 7 as yet. Okay? Chord 2 is going to start on which note, Declan?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was writing something down. Say
If I'm in C major and I'm going to do chord 2, what note am I going to start on?
in C major, so that would
Yes.
be D.
It would indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so, what would be the next note in the chord?
That would be F sharp.
No, there's no F sharp in C major.
Oh no, there's not, is there?
No, there's not.
Be an A, wouldn't it?
It'd be F natural and then A.
Okay.
Oh, that's natural.
Now, is that a major or a minor chord?
Sounds a bit minor to me.
It is, because it's a minor chord. Okay? And then if I go to the third note of the scale, E. Okay? What are the notes of the chord starting on E in C major?
G.
E. What else?
G.
So are we in major or minor? Major.
All I want is we're in C major.
Yeah. And you're on.
I'm starting on E for elephant.
E. G.
Yeah, and
B.
B. That's
Oh,
a
right,
minor
okay.
as well. Okay, so I go 1, 3, and 5 from whichever note I start on, and that gives me the chord. Okay.
Okay.
If I go to the sixth note of the scale, which is A,
Yeah.
I go 6 up to C, up to E. That is also a minor chord. So chords 2, 3, and 6 are minor chords, but that is all in C major. Because I've only used notes that are in the C major scale.
What's the best way to learn those, Tim? Are you saying that because you just know them, or are you working it out mechanically, or do you learn them by rote?
Having played for a few years I have, I know them. Okay, and I can work in any key I need to. Okay. It's when you start learning a new language, and then you start learning the vocabulary. Eventually, some of it will become second nature, and you actually start thinking in that language.
Okay.
Okay. At the moment, you're still trying to sort of think like, what's the word for this, what's the word for that, and then sort of trying to string strings together, like when you first started to learn French or something like that. Okay. It's the same sort of thing. Okay. So you've got this whole major scale of C, and it just so happens those 7 notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, before you start repeating again, can be put together in different ways to make different chords. Okay? Some of which are minor, some of which are major. Okay? We've got 3 minors and 3 majors. The chord on the 7th note is what we call a diminished chord. We shall come to that later. Don't worry about that now. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So, running out of time. Go away. Right. So that is. So going back to harmonic minor scale now, you've got chords. Get back. 1 starting on C, but because we're in C minor now, that's going to be a minor chord. Okay? And chord 4, because we're in C minor, because you've got an A flat, you have a minor chord as well. But because you have a B natural in the harmonic minor scale, G, B, D, you have a major chord within the minor scale. The same way you had minor chords within the major scale. You with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Declan? Hello? I
I had my thumb up. I was saying yes. Yeah.
So I can't see you. That's all. You're not in my
And so
minus line of pictures. That's all.
This is true in every
There you are.
harmonic minor.
In any harmonic minor scale, it's just a matrix that you move from one note to another note, depending what key you want to be in.
Right.
Okay.
So the fifth chord in any harmonic minor
In any minor key is going to be a major chord.
is going to be a major chord. Right.
Yes. Okay. The other thing to remember is that any chord on any note, you can have a major or minor chord on any note. The note that makes the difference is the middle note. Okay, the 3rd note. Okay. Remember I said that in a major chord you've got 4 semitones, then 3 semitones.
Yeah.
If you've got 3 semitones, then 4 semitones, you get a minor chord. Because all that's happened is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's your C major chord. If I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's C minor chord. Okay? Does that make sense? I've just swapped the 3 semitones and the 4 semitones. I've just turned upside down. Okay? The first note and the fifth note stay the same. But if you to make a chord major or minor, you either raise or lower the middle note.
Yep.
Okay. Very good example of that, you'll be glad to know, David Bowie used, my favourite, at the opening of Station to Station. Have you ever listened to that? You get this major, minor, going all the way through. Coked out his head he was, but anyway, not to worry. Great track. It's very good. There's a very good live version of on YouTube. Goes on for about 15 minutes. It's wonderful. Anyway, less of that. But that is major and minor. That's how you know the difference between a major and a minor chord. Okay.
Tim,
That lowering of the middle note. Okay.
Tim,
3 semitones, then 4 semitones for a minor chord. 4, then 3 for a major chord. There's only that one semitone change between a major and a minor chord. Okay? Have I got everybody on side, yes?
can I ask one more question, Tim?
Yes!
Sorry. So when you have one of the keys like B flat or F sharp, so when you're starting on a sharp or a flat and you're
Yes.
calculating those 3 or 4 semitones,
Uh-huh.
that was causing me all kinds of problems.
Okay, right. Well, what you need to do first is to work out what the scale is, I think. Okay? Let's just go over here and I'll fill this in. Let's do... what are we doing for time? We're going to run out of time very shortly.
All right.
Let's do F sharp minor harmonic here, okay? I shall dip up. Oh, go away. Oh, stop it. Alright, so if I take that down, accidentals. Right, okay, so there is your F sharp minor harmonic scale. That's rubbish. Why is that up there? It's not E double sharp, you idiot, it's E sharp. Thank you. Wonder why that wasn't sounding right. So we now should have... See, it gets even me, Declan, don't worry. Right, there we go. There's an F sharp minor scale. So the first note is F sharp, the third note is A, and the fifth note is C sharp. F sharp minor chord. Fourth note is B, D, and F sharp. There's chord 4. Okay? And chord 5 is C sharp, E sharp, and what would be G sharp up there. But I've got a G sharp there, so I'll just pretend it's that one up there. Okay?
That's a major chord.
Yes, that's a major chord, but it's chord 5 in F sharp minor.
Yep.
Okay? Is that making sense?
Yes, so that's the scale. It was working out the chord. Yeah, so like the first chord on that, so chord 1 is,
F sharp.
yeah. And is that followed by A?
Yes.
All right, okay. And then F sharp, yeah.
and C sharp.
Or sorry, C sharp. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
is that making lots of sense now?
More
More
steps,
sense.
thanks.
More sense. Okay, right. So that is so going back to our doobie-doobie-doo. So here we have chords. This is I haven't filled in the rest of it because that's what you were doing if you wanted to. But as you can see, chord 5. That's the. If we could start off in C, 1, 4, and 5, and then we did the relative. Remember the relative minors we did?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is chord 6 of C major. We call that chord 1 in A minor. Chord 4 is a chord of D minor, and then chord 5 is a chord of E, and it's going to be a major chord because it's got a G sharp there. Yes? In your harmonic minor scale, it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp, A to get the right sequence of tones and semitones and that augmented second in the middle of it. Yep? Okay, so, and then all I've done is I've moved to G, 1 sharp, and we've got G is the major key with 1 sharp, E minor is the minor key with 1 sharp. So here we are back in chords 1, 4, and 5, back at the OK chorale. Okay, so, where was I? Yes, there's a G major with 1 sharp, E minor, which has 1 sharp as key signature, plus the D sharp in chord 5. Okay? Which makes it a major chord. So if I play from here, you will hear 1, 4, and 5 in G major. And then you will hear chords 1, 4, and 5 in E minor. Okay, that last chord was a major chord because of the D sharp. Okay? Is that making sense? Yep. So, let us go down to F sharp. Okay. Now we'll do B major. B major, okay? So chords 1, 4, and 5 and B major. What are they going to be?
E.
Yep.
Oh.
So-
EGB.
E, G, sharp, and B. And then chord 5 will be
F sharp.
F sharp, A sharp, and C sharp. Okay? Let's put the bass note in. Okay, so what's the relative minor of F sharp, of B, sorry.
B sharp minor.
Sorry?
E sharp.
G sharp. There you go. G sharp. Okay. So, chord 4 in G sharp minor will be
G sharp.
C sharp. C sharp, E, and G sharp. Okay. So chord 5, oops. What will chord 5 be in G sharp minor?
D sharp.
D sharp. Okay. So, if I put D sharp, I've got D sharp, F sharp, and A sharp. Now that's a minor chord. I need to make that a major chord. So what do I have to do to my chord of D sharp to make it D sharp major?
Sharpen the F.
Sharpen the F sharp.
Yes.
There's an F sharp already, okay? So, if I, and it worked for me earlier, click on my F sharp, raise it, I get F double sharp. Okay? Does that make sense? So that is a double sharp being used in its proper place. It's a happy double sharp. Okay? It's in context and it's making sense because it is the leading note, it is the last note of the scale of G sharp minor before you go back to G sharp again. Okay? G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F double sharp, G sharp. Okay? But I have no plans, I don't think anybody has any plans to write anything for the chorus in G sharp minor.
Sounds like a challenge.
Certainly is, yes. Because the piano part would be very simple. Okay, I might just have to take the keyboard and transpose from G minor. Okay, but yeah, it's a tricky key to sort of play in G sharp minor. Schumann uses it a few times, but he was quite a good pianist. But anyway, so that's that one there. Let's do one with lots of flats in it. Right. Let's do G flat major. Okay. So here we are, G flat major. What is going to chord 4 going to be in G flat? Declan.
Oh. God. I don't know. I just can't work out counting 3 or 4 semitones.
That was
flat.
Yeah. I dropped you right in there. I should have done. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Have we got let's just find some space somewhere. Not in there. Here we are. G minor, F sharp minor, G minor, A minor, E minor. We don't have anything. I'm just going to write a G flat major scale here for you. Okay, so let's get a key signature. Let's get rid of that. So G flat major in crotchets. Okay, so there's G flat major. Okay. G flat, A flat, B flat, C, that's a semitone, and F to G flat's a semitone. Okay, so chord 1 is going to be which notes?
G flat,
G flat.
B flat,
B flat and
D flat.
E.
D flat.
E.
D flat.
Oh.
1, 3, and 5. Okay, so if we go back to here, there we go, 1, 3, and 5. G flat, B flat, and D flat. Okay, so going back to our G flat major scale, which note is chord 4 going to start on?
C flat.
C flat. Well done, Vaughan. Okay, so what are the notes of that going to be? C flat?
E flat.
E flat.
Yeah, and?
The G.
E flat.
G flat.
flat.
E flat. Yeah.
So, C flat. Oops, sorry. Okay, there. Of 4. So chord 5 is going to be
It's going to start on D flat, isn't it?
D flat, yeah. So while I get that, then you tell me what notes I need in my chord of D flat.
F flat.
Sorry?
F flat.
F flat.
Natural.
D flat.
D flat. F flat. Mm.
There's no F flat because we've got
F
to
natural.
It's F natural.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
And then
And the top note's A flat.
A
Oh, that's
flat.
not it, is it? No.
Yep. What is our relative minor of E flat major? What note of the scale was that?
E.
E flat minor.
E flat minor. That's it. How'd you get A flat minor? Drop a piano down a mine shaft. The ones that are best.
It's like a Les Dawson joke.
Les Dawson.
I wish you could play like Les Dawson, Tim.
Oh dear. I can play like Les Dawson. I can't tell jokes like Les Dawson. All right, okay. So chord one, that's chord 1 in E flat minor. What is chord 4 going to be in E flat minor?
A flat.
A flat. Okay. So we get a come back. We shouldn't do that. Right. So A flat. What other notes are of the chord?
C flat.
Yep.
E flat.
And E flat. Okay, so chord 5 in E flat minor is going to be
B
B.
flat.
B flat. Okay. What notes are we going to want to the chord of B flat?
Oh. D flat.
D flat, yeah.
But that's a minor chord.
It is,
Listen.
isn't it?
Okay, so what do I have to do to this chord to change it from minor to major?
You have to take the flat off the D. Is that right?
Exactly. Ta-da.
Raise the 7th.
Is that what it's called technically?
Yes, yes. It's D is the 7th note of an E flat minor scale. Okay, but D natural is the 7th note of an E flat minor harmonic scale.
Because of the augmented thing.
Because of the. Oh, stop it. Okay. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yes.
Collectively.
Thanks, Fawn.
I think between us we understand.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are getting it all, are we?
You're like a little sort of group of Borg.
Yes.
Okay. I haven't got lots of spare time at the moment. If anybody wants any little catch-up sessions on, on one-to-one, just email me and we can set up a Zoom lesson. I appreciate this is not, this is fairly advanced. Okay. I should imagine anybody in the other group who sort of saw we were doing this sort of thing would probably have 10 kittens.
I think it will make sense when we put it to practical use, and we'll understand why we need to know what the chords are in certain keys. Then it will make sense why we need to know that.
Yeah. What I want to do next week, okay, if you haven't done this, it may be worthwhile having a go at it, okay? Sorry? Filling all this in, yeah? And working out what the chords are. I know some of you have done it already, which is great. Next week I would like to look at inversions, I think. Okay? Inversions is using the same chords but putting them in a different order. Vertically. Okay? And that way we can get more interesting things happening horizontally.
Sounds intriguing.
Absolutely, yes. You will love it. Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So remember, when you're looking for your minor chords, you need to have your harmonic minor scale. Don't go to the melodic minor scale, go to the harmonic minor scale. If you're looking for chords, you need your harmonic minor scale. The clue is in the name. Okay?
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions?
Is there homework?
There's this. I can work out some more if you wish.
That'd be good.
I've got enough. Thanks, Tim.
Okay. If anybody, just email me. If you want any more to do, email me and I shall dream up something horrible for you.
That'll bloody teach him.
Absolutely. Okay. Try and ruin my weekend, will you? Is everybody happy?
Thank you,
Yes.
Tim.
Yes, thank you,
Yes,
Tim.
thanks for that.
Does
Much
anybody feel
appreciated.
completely at sea? I'm worried that if people feel completely at sea, and you know, I know it's not easy, and I will do my best to sort of help you work out what is happening. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Let me know if you feel sort of slightly overwhelmed by it, and we can work something out. Okay.
Okay, cheers.
I'm
Thank you,
away
Tim.
at 8 o'clock.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.